Okay.
There? Cool. Okay.
So we have 5 minutes. We could possibly be live right now on Facebook. I'm just going to check. Yes,
Okay.
no, we're not. That's a different one. Hold on.
It's not coming up. Please launch. Click here. I do. I don't know why it's not coming up. There we go. Hello. Hart said that. Who was outside?
Luke.
Luke.
That was his place. That was his desk today.
Yeah. He's so cute. All right. How's the lighting? Thank you. I need to get one of these.
It's good. It looks like it's more on your right side than your left or the other way. Do you have it?
Let me
try to center it.
Yeah, it is a little bit more on the right.
And it looks great.
Helping me set it up, and I couldn't tell. Oh, that's better.
Yeah, that looks good.
So
and I noticed
it mounts on the side.
I make sure I can see the lights completely around my equipment, because otherwise it actually puts a shadow on your face.
Yeah. No, it makes such a difference. My goodness.
So let's see. So so we're in practice mode. My computer's telling me right now, when I hit broadcast, it'll actually go live. So,
okay. So tell me right before you do that.
Nope. Just kidding. Yes. And I'm a little nervous to make sure I say the right thing too. So I do have a script here. So when I say take it away, that's when don't talk until then. I'm kidding.
Okay, I won't.
That's when it's your turn to start your thing. But before I say thank you for joining us today, I say, hey Monica, how are you? How's quarantine treating you? I'm gonna just start like that first.
So do you want me to respond right away to that?
Yeah. Then I want you to respond, then I'll respond, and then I'll say thank you for joining us today, and then I'll start the webinar basically. So I think it'll help.
I need my earbud
load.
Thank you. I'm glad I saw that. I was like, wait, I know I'm missing something.
Oh, I know. Then I have to make a checklist.
Okay, can you hear me? That's better, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Let's see.
Let's see if I turn this just down a little bit. I know, I feel like I just took a Sudafed. I'm hoping it doesn't, because I feel like I've got that post. Oh, lovely hair.
I know, I have a thing too.
Yeah.
So let's see, it is 10:58. I'm gonna go ahead and broadcast us. We can start our chit chat now, because I can't let people in until I broadcast it.
Okay.
So let's do that. And then we'll see. Okay. I see something going on. Okay. Hi, Monica. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So how's quarantine treating you these days?
Well, could be better.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm used to working from home, so it's not such a big transition for me. Just trying to figure out this online is taking a little bit of time for me, but other than that, it's pretty much similar to what I'm used to. How about you?
You know, quarantine actually has been a blessing in disguise, I would call it. I feel that having more time with my family, seeing my children in their learning time or during school, has been really cool. I see a whole different side of them sometimes, and I just am thankful for that time. Also, I feel in my business that it's given me a little bit extra time to revamp and grow and take on this new journey on what real estate's gonna be like after quarantine. So I feel like it just completely took our whole world from like this type of business to we're shifting completely over, and we got rid of like that, like the time, you know, like when you have like a learning curve, like the learning curve.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's part of what I've been doing too, is just updating my files, my website, just things that I haven't had time to do prior to this. So I think that's a great thing. And I know you're a good mommy.
Thank you.
Mine are grown and gone, as you know, but I can only imagine how much work that is, trying to do your own business and taking care of the kids, because I know they're number one for you, but yeah, I can totally appreciate what you're going through too.
Yes, I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why. I just feel lucky that I always see like the silver lining in anything we're going through, and I trust that God has his hand on it, and that, you know, I usually take change and I take it by the horns and I just run with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I find
No,
that's what
I
I
know
do.
you're very positive, which is a great thing. And I know, you know, you're so hardworking and dedicated, and so you fit all that time in between work and the kids and helping me with this, because this is actually one of the first that I've done. So in terms
I'm
of a webinar.
glad. Yeah,
So
I'm glad. I'm glad.
yeah, I'm
You know,
excited.
it's part of what it's part of what I'm trying to you know, I'm being people, right? So that's my whole goal. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to fix this host thing really quick. Hold
No
on.
worries.
Host. Let me fix this. Okay, let me do that. Because it actually kicked us off of live everything. So.
Oh, we did? Oh.
Yeah.
So are we up there?
Let me do it. And I'm not sure what happened to our, oh, there they are. Okay. Hello, Jan. Hi, Pauline. Hi, Taz. Hi, Cindy. Hi, guys. We're just chit-chatting a little bit here, and we're getting ourselves set up for our live. So
Bear with us.
hold tight 1 second. We're just checking in on quarantine and seeing how we're doing in our lives these days. So thank you for being here. And let's see. Creating. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay, I got that taken care of. Okay.
Good. This is exciting.
All right. Okay, so people can join now. Okay, great.
Great.
Okay, so we are here today to bring to you this amazing webinar, and I hope that everybody is well. I hope your families are healthy. I'm Jeanette Nelson, and I'm with Keller Williams Realty, and I am the owner of Nelson Group Real Estate. And, you know, through this challenging time, I have found that the best thing to do, or gosh, how am I going to connect with people, right? So I decided to call different businesses and see what type of help they could provide to me, to the community. And so I also felt like it could help them as well. So someone like Monica, she's an interior designer and she does amazing work. And so I thought, well, let me reach out to Monica and see what information she might have available, since everybody's sitting at home now, that it's just very timely that maybe people could have a little extra time for themselves or their homes and share, you know, create a space that they love and that they enjoy more. So our goal is to do that for you today. Also, I have been hosting several webinars since quarantine started, and the reason for that is I just really wanted to reach out to the community and see where I could help. And I felt that through talking with different business owners and providing value to the community, that those two together were helping everyone, including myself. So it's just a way for me to give back to my community, to the people that I care about, and to help their businesses. So thank you for being here today, and thank you for your support. And also I want to remind you that this is the first week of a 6-week series. So every Friday we are going to have at 11 a.m. another interior design topic that you can join us on. So go ahead and register again when we're done. Go ahead and register again for this webinar, and you'll be set up for the rest of the seminar, or the rest of the series, I should say. And also, I'm going to put in the chat room for you my Facebook page and my Instagram page, so you can see what webinars are upcoming, and you'll get the information quickly that way. Also, I wanted to see what else I want to share up front. Okay. Also, I wanted to share with you before I introduce you to Monica, I wanted to share that we will be interacting during the webinar. So in the Q&A section, feel free to answer or ask questions, and we'll answer them throughout the webinar. We also will make sure we answer anything that we didn't answer at the end of the webinar. And if you have any comments or anything, feel free to put them in the chat room. I will be monitoring that throughout this time. And so we'll be having a nice conversation while Monica is sharing her information. So feel free to interact with us, please. So I would also now like to introduce Monica. She's an amazing interior designer. She's got 20 years of experience, and her specialty is kitchens and bathrooms, although she is a full service interior designer. She comes to us with a degree in interior design and finance and a wealth of information. So I just want to welcome you, Monica. I think that the kitchen and bathrooms are super essential, especially if you're thinking of selling a home. Those are the #1 items that a buyer really wants to see updated. And I don't know, it's like you want to go to the bathroom to be, to be surrounded by the beauty of it. I just was at a house yesterday and I had a client who redid the bathrooms, and not the rest of the house so much, but oh my God, I just couldn't leave her bathrooms. They were so beautiful. And I was like, oh, I mean, how amazing, right? So anyway, so it can brighten your day. And so I just hope that this webinar brings more joy and more efficiency in your home, and that you can enjoy it more. So Monica, take it away.
Thanks, Jeanette. I'm really excited to be a part of your program here. And this is something that I've been thinking of doing for a while. So thanks for pushing me to get there.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah, I've known Jeanette for, how long have we known each other? Like 10, 12 years or more.
Yeah.
So she's a sweetheart. I love her. And she's just really, you're amazing. You're the best mom. Those boys, they're so cute, and you've done such a good job with them. I know it's a lot of work, especially being home now with them full time, but I know you enjoy doing that and spending more time with them. So I think that's great. And just, trying to keep up with work. I know you're such a dedicated person when it comes to your profession, and I'm amazed at how much you do. So anyone out there that needs some help,
I love it.
Definitely the person you want to talk to. So
let me go ahead. I'd be happy to help.
Oh, I know, you're so good that way. You help me. So let's share our screen here. Bear with me, getting this. Okay, so sorry, I'm a little off here. Oops, okay. For some reason, this is going backwards here. Okay.
Hi, Justin. Hi, Tass. I already said hi to Tass. Sorry, Tass. Hi, Lauren. Nice to see you guys. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, everyone. So in this first session, I know you mentioned we are going to be hosting 6. And the first one I thought really is relevant to today's time in quarantine is the home office. A lot of us are working from home. I typically work from home anyway, so it hasn't been as big of a transition for me, but it's still, it still is. And so I wanted to cover some things that I think hopefully will help you. And again, if you have questions, just let us know. And in chat, we can answer at the end. If we haven't addressed all your questions, we will be sending out, follow-up email with information. And I think we're doing a copy of this for you, right, Jeanette?
Yes, it'll be, it's being recorded.
Okay, perfect. So you can always go back and look at it and see if there's any information you missed. It will be available to you. So I just want to give a quick outline. What we're going to discuss is the office locations. I really want to cover organization and efficiency, because that really is so important in making sure that you can do what you need to do in terms of whether it's schoolwork or your profession, workspace and storage, lighting, tech, electrical, equipment, and ergonomics. And at the end, we'll go over the pretty part, the fun part for me, but the rest is just as important. So on the first section, we're going to cover, again, the locations, and I'm just kind of going through these briefly. This is the first area that I thought we'd address, is the niche, for like a little nook or cranny in the home. I love this one. I think it's a great, it's a great representation of a space that's underutilized that you can actually, you can showcase. So what I think is so fun is the chalkboard paint. So you can always use that for notes, for, you know, a to-do list, whatever you want, you know, that's very helpful. The second slide is actually my son and daughter-in-law's house, because that was the biggest transformation. They purchased a house in Long Beach, and it was really just everything was torn out and redone. The point that I want you to notice, this wall and then the wall back here. Sorry, our screens are up here in the way. Get that out of the way. This wall back here. So what we ended up doing was opening up this area, and appliances and everything were transferred in, you know, into moved at other locations. So I'll go to the next slide, which gives you a better idea. Oh wait, sorry, I thought I had more pictures. I lost them. So anyways, what we really wanted to create was a need for my daughter-in-law to do bills and pay attention to, you know, things that are coming up for schooling, or she's a phenomenal chef. So I thought that would be a great place for her to have the computer. So this is what we created for her, and I'll give you a quick synopsis of what we did. And the other picture you saw, the range was on this wall, and we opened it up here. And then this was an existing niche, but it was smaller. It actually housed her pantry. And so we moved the pantry over to this side next to the fridge, but this allowed us to create a workstation for her. So I'm addressing some things that are, you know, not necessarily at the moment, to try to, you know, find a place for you to work while you're in quarantine. But there are some areas that you can modify to just in the, you know, for temporary workstations. But this was a great idea in terms of, you got storage up here for files and books, and then here she has drawers for, you know, her pens and pencils and everything else. So that's a great way to give yourself a little more storage. The next thing,
I love how you opened that wall up.
Thank
how you made that walkthrough space. I was like, I mean, who would have thought to create that, like separate that space, and it just makes it feel like it's more open and flowing.
Yeah, it really made such a huge difference. It brought in so much more light. We actually closed off a couple of windows here, but with the opening, it goes into their family room, and there's so much more light. It's amazing. So that's a good solution. Nice. I've done something similar in other homes, that we opened up rooms to allow more light. So we will discuss light later in this seminar. So I'll cover that separately, but to me, lighting is huge. And especially if you're working, you know, you need light so you can see what you're trying to do. So the next slide I'm showing is if you want to have a workstation under a stairwell. This is really a great idea if there's enough space, and you know, some people are using it for a closet if you don't have enough storage. But if you're looking for some space to put another workstation, I think this is a great idea. The next is a closet that's underused. So if you have like a guest bedroom, another bedroom that maybe kids were in and they're gone now, they're, you know, either away from home or they're in college and they're not really using it that much, this is a great solution. So this was a project where there was actually a fireplace chute that went in here, and the client took out the fireplace. So we kind of modified it and did just a work office. Important to notice the lighting just really helps you see. There's some lighting backlight up here for this area here. So some of the things, again, you want to consider is how the lighting is going to impact your work area. And then
I like the texture of the walls in there.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's exciting, yeah.
There's tile, there's reclaimed wood strips that you can use. If you are into color, there's, you know, you can do wallpaper. There's so much you can do to just accent that wall. I think a lot of it has to do with whether you're interested, you know what your theme is. So that really makes a difference as to how we end up designing the space.
What is the work surface made of?
This looks, I think this was, if I recall, it was a slab of wood, and then we just painted it because they wanted it very streamlined. So if you can see up here, this is, you know, just finished, just, it's not even stained, it's just a finished slab of wood. And then this is, it's basically the same, but we did a little bit of a whitewash on it just to make it a little bit different. And then the other thing that we obviously can use in our home as a workstation, especially now, you know, if a lot of us are trying to find space that's a temporary use, you can always work in a bedroom. This home is a really good friend of mine. She has 3 girls. So in each of the bedrooms, we did, we created a workstation. So this one's a desk with some drawers. You can't see, but over here, there's a filing cabinet for her. And it's basically matching this, but with a drawer and, you know, a couple of I would say 3 drawers that she has some storage. So it's good for laptop. I mean, it's not for a total large workstation, but for kids, I think it's a great idea. And believe me, they use it all the time. We can work in a family room, bonus room, hallways. Hallways are fun too, because if you have, say, a 2nd story and there's a landing and there's enough space to put a desk or 2, I've done it where there's been a couple of desks and space, you know, storage on each side. That's another solution for a space that otherwise may be wasted. In the kitchen, I showed you the nook that we created. Dining room, it could be, a lot of formal dining rooms now are not being used like they were prior to, you know, maybe 20 years ago. So that's a good place that can turn into a multi-function room. And then basements, obviously, there's not as many here in California, but back east, there's, you know, there's so much done with those. So that's another place you can go. And one of the other things is just being able to close yourself off in that space. So this was a fun room to do. I love the color, blue and white.
Yeah, it looks great.
Thank you. Any questions so far on any of this? I can't see the
questions
chat, so.
yet.
No?
Yeah,
okay.
feel free to make any comments, or if you guys like something, feel free to write in the chat room things that you like. That would be great. Also, if it makes you think of any other topics you're interested in, that feel free to put them in the chat, because we do have a 6-week series and we can add them to some of our other content that we already are planning for. So feel free to add things in as you would like.
Yeah, please do. I'll remind you at the end of this session, but next week we're going to be covering painting. And if there's anything you'd like to know on that, you know, on that topic, feel free to put it in the chat and I'll try to incorporate it. I already have kind of an idea of what we're going to be discussing, an outline, but I'm open to suggestions if there's something that you think will really benefit you. So go ahead and do that.
Oh, I like that. So
I love this.
Let me share with you. So I know that the colors made me think of the paint and color for next week and ideas, but we do have a question. Do you have any hallway office project pictures?
No.
I would think none. Like a linen closet or something, probably. Or
I don't on the linen closet. Yeah, I've done them before, but those were done a while back. So I don't have anything current. I'll look through. If I find one, I will share it. But
I think maybe that closet space that you created in that
other than that,
room where the fireplace was, that would be something
back.
maybe similar to what you could create. Something.
This one are you referring to?
No, the other one.
Oh,
yeah,
that the stairwell?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that one was right. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So, sorry, I've been doing this.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I've been doing this for over 20 years. So a lot of the pictures, I'm just kind of limiting what's on there so it's more current. But yeah, you can do that in a linen. I would suggest opening it up. You know, sorry, what am I trying to say? A coat closet. You could do something like that too. But again, those are tight, so I don't know that's the best location. You want at least 30 inches of width minimum for a workspace. Otherwise, you're just going to feel like it's claustrophobic. So just make sure you have enough space if you're going to do something like that. And always, I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions. So that's something we can always talk about later. I thought
maybe she can send a picture
sure,
of
yeah,
the hall
of the
area.
space.
Yeah,
exactly. I thought this was just really fun and cute. You know, piece of furniture that can double as either a workstation. In this case, they were using it for a kid's art center. It's just fun. They have the chalkboard paint here again. As you can see here, they have some paper. So everything, what I like about this too, it's very organized. So you have your bins, you have drawers, and they even actually, this isn't one of mine personally, but they have it marked as to what goes where. So it kind of helps the child figure out where they want, you know, where things go. So at the end of the day, you can put things away. I know my grandbabies are really good about putting away their toys in their bins. They know exactly where they go. I'm really impressed Allie has gotten to that with them because I never did that when my kids were little. But it's a great idea.
What's really great about this also, Monica, is not only are parents home trying to work from home, but also every child right now is working from home. And I know our children work on a dining room table, even though they have a desk. I don't know what it is. I think it's just, I don't know, maybe it feels like they're in a classroom, but they work from the dining room table. So we modified our dining room pretty much to be their school classroom.
Right, and that's what I mentioned before, with this being hopefully a temporary solution. That's the best you can do is modify, whether it's a dining room, you know, if you have an island, that a lot of times, I think the kids just feel more comfortable because you're in that space and it's more welcoming versus isolated in their rooms. I think that's more geared towards an older child. But when the kids are younger, it's better if you can incorporate them in the area that you're at, you know, as long as you're not working. But if they're doing some work while you're, you know, researching something and you're in that same room, that I think they're more comfortable there. So sounds like you're doing that.
Yep.
All right. Our next segment is going to cover efficiency and organization. So just a quick outline, again, organizing solutions, the workspace, task lighting, which is just lighting where you need it, outlets and charging stations, laptops, internet access, and the a printer, which for me, the multifunction is the best. So we'll cover organizing solutions. I just thought this desk was so cute. Again, I have grandbabies, a 2- and a 4-year-old, and I adore them. And so I'm always looking at things for them. And minions, it makes me laugh. But here's some really cute creative solutions for storage, you know, for pens and pencils. And you can get creative with your kids. It's just a fun thing to do together. So obvious, you know, for us as adults, if you have a built-in desk and credenza, or you have a separate credenza, filing cabinets, bookshelves, these are all things that, like, the bookshelf doesn't have to be an actual bookcase. I have a couple of wrought iron, they're actually outdoor pieces that I love. So they store my books and different like wicker baskets that I put magazines in, or, you know, some of my my vendors' files. So I organize that way too. I try to make it so it's not so utilitarian and office-y looking. As a designer, it's not what we want to do. So I try to be a little more creative. Drawers and cabinets, decorative bins and trays, which I thought this was a great example because they do have some bins. You can make these more personalized, but those are nice to store items. It doesn't have to necessarily be just an art station. And then pencil and pen holders, which, you know, there's a ton of examples here. They have this for the scissors. So it's all about getting creative with the types of storage pieces that you use. I'm kind of anal. I like to be organized. So I have trays for just about everything. Here's one. This is mine. I have a lot in there. But anyways, so you can, it's just whatever works for you, but just know you can be more organized with certain pieces, and it just makes you more efficient. So we'll move on to the workspace and lighting. In this part of the session, I wanted to kind of just touch on some of these things. A lot of it's basically self-explanatory, a desk versus a tabletop or a slab desktop like you saw in that picture under the stairs and in the closet. So the desks seem to be the thing most people are, or sorry, not desks, the tables are really where everyone is going because it's more streamlined, it's more clean. Although sometimes, you know, the one thing with desks is everything shows, the wiring. So then you have to think, okay, how do I want to hide that? So it really depends on what your use is and how you want to use that space. But again, desks, you can have some that look, you know, more like a captain's desk is what I'm trying to think of the term. I'm blanking out right now, sorry. With drawers on either side, or a table with some filing cabinet underneath, and it doesn't have to be a metal utility, you know, like corporate style. It can be something more furniture looking. Slab desktop, stone, wood. I've done them in quartz. You can do it. Those are the main three, I would say. And then with lighting, task lighting, I don't know if you're familiar, there's 3 different types of lighting. There's ambient, task, and accent. So ambient is your overhead lighting, like your cans, a chandelier, pendants, so say like over an island. So when you're working at a table, you want task lighting. In this picture, obviously, this is considered your task lighting, and even the ambient lighting is your window that provides lighting. So you want to layer it. There's 3 different types of lighting that you want to incorporate in that room. So you could even do something with like wall sconces behind you. Say where I am now, you see the 3 pictures. I could put some wall sconces on either side of like a single picture or something, just to give you a little more lighting, but also create a mood. So those are just some of the things I was wanting to touch on. Does anyone have any questions on lighting?
Monica, I have a question on lighting. On the task lighting, is there there's so many bulbs when you go to Home Depot, like there's like, I don't know, like an entire aisle and wall filled with bulbs. If I was gonna have a task light on my desk versus the can lighting that I have in my home office, what kind of light bulb would I use for that?
Well, the bulk of what we're using now is the LED lighting, just because it's energy efficient. And with California, a lot of what we have to do is LED. So that's what the manufacturers have geared us towards. But the nice thing with that is warm and cool tone. So it doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be that cold blue light unless you know, you want that. I'm sorry, what were you going to ask? What else?
I was going to ask that. Like, when I go, I see like 3 different colors. There's like a white, blue, and a warm color, and then I'm like, okay, which one's the best one for my eyes?
Yeah. Well, it depends on the room, and it depends on the colors on the wall. Depends on how much light you have. For task, it's typically going to be just the warm. But you could go either way on a table lamp. It depends on. For working, I think the cool is probably the best because it really shows the most, but it's not the most attractive light. If you have a table lamp and your room has more of a warm tone to it, you want the warm tone on the LED bulb, just because it lends itself. You don't want it to be a stark contrast to what you have going on in that space. Just removing myself a minute from this particular topic. If you say you have that wall that we were talking about in the closet with the wood, those are more warm tones. So you want to use lighting that highlights that. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, so I think if you take that light that's on the desk right now, I would make that light bulb cool.
Yeah.
Because it helps probably build contrast with my black and white print. And then the room still could have a warm light, but that task light should be cool.
Yeah, and in this example, they are cooler tones, so I would stick with a cooler bulb.
Right.
So yes, it really just depends on, like I said, what the rest of that space is looking like. But also you want it's more directional for like paper. It's always white typically. So the cool light, it makes sense to do that. And your screen laptop, your laptop or your monitor typically is white or black. The rim is black. So not that you're going to highlight that space, but just the area around it. So
I have another question. So when you have like a living room and a dining room, everyone likes those open spaces.
Right.
So let's say I have, I don't know, warm tones in my living room, but then I have cool tones in the kitchen and dining room, and they're all one room.
Right.
Can you use two different types of lighting in one space, or do you actually put warm in the warm side and cool in the cool side?
Well, the best scenario would be to do the rooms where since they're open to each other, you want to make sure that they coordinate with the same tones, the same color renditions. So if it's a cool room, the tones are cool, like the blues and the grays, then you would use a cool bulb. If it's warm, you would do the opposite. If you have different coloration in both rooms, I probably would just do whatever is in each room. So if you have in the kitchen, it's cooler tones, I would use the LED with a cool rendering. If you're in the other room, I would try to warm that up a little bit. A lot of times, hopefully, well, can't say you're going to always have that, but if you have, say, a decorative beam or something separating the space, that's not an issue. It's really, if it's totally open, it does become a bit of a problem. So that's why initially when you do something like that, you want to make sure the rooms reflect each other's, the space of each room. So they coordinate together. So when you're doing lighting, it all works as one uniform room. And that's the whole purpose of trying to do a great room, so that it reflects the same scheme, the design scheme in both areas. So that way you avoid that.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And then this one, I just think this is so cool. We're doing a lot more with technology in terms of, now we have our iPads and our phones and everything else that we're trying to work with, and you have to recharge them. So what do you do without having so many different products to do this? So in this case, if you can see down here, we have a charging station and an outlet combined. So you have the USB ports here and the outlets there. Can be in a piece of furniture. You can have something separate. But I wanted to cover a couple of things here. So basically, we're going to cover outlets, charging stations, and miscellaneous tech gadgets. I don't know how many of you are into the technology, but that's what we're dealing with today, and it's made our lives so much easier, but then it can complicate it. So we definitely, when you're working from home, you need adequate outlets with, I always recommend surge protection. I'm sure most of you are doing that now, but that's really important, especially because we have so much equipment going on at the same time. Cord protectors and covers, I mentioned that earlier. How are you going to hide the cords and keep them from tangling up? It can be a rat's nest in there. Charging stations, we just addressed that. Again, technology with Alexa or Google, Nest. There's so many things out there now that you can take advantage of, and to back up, your files. Whether you have external hard drives, you can back up on the cloud. I guess I'm old-fashioned. I still want an external hard drive, or what do you call those now? I'm drawing a blank. A disk. Drawing a blank. But you want to be able to protect your information and your files, so you definitely want something that you can save. And most of us are doing the cloud now, and that's great. Up to a certain point, you can save, and then you need to start kind of clearing it out, or you have to bump it up. And then obviously your phone. I don't know how many of you have landlines left. Most of us, if we have it, it's because you have a printer fax combo and you need that for the fax. But cell phone, landlines, you know, you need all that equipment. One of the things I'm including here at the ground, this is an example of one of their outlets. I'm including that so you can go to their website and just check out the all that they have in terms of outlets. There's so much information on there. So that's a good website to go to and get some information for you. Then I think, let me think, what else was I going to say? I'm trying to blank.
I posted the link in the chat room if you guys want to copy and paste it.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. Yeah, I don't know how many people use Amazon and Alexa or the Google Home. I had the Alexa and it kind of freaked me out because it turned on and started talking when nobody was even in that room. So I don't really use it, but I know a lot of people do and they haven't had that many issues. It's good for, you know, music or asking a question, but I think the kids enjoy it more than I do at this point. And the other thing I included is techtoys.com. And this one was an article for the top, I think it was 15, I'm trying to recall, tech gadgets that are out for 2020. It was just kind of an interesting topic. So you might want to check that out if anyone's interested in that. And I know I
have a question for you.
Oh, sure.
When you're ready, go ahead and finish that.
No, I was just going to say there's so much information. This could be a class in itself, but I'm trying to cover our time allotted here. What's your question?
I have a question. What are some ways to hide cords?
They have these little protectors. I think you can even just go on Amazon and get them. And covers, I mean, I've had clients that have made covers for them out of material just to match whatever decor they have, you know, in the room. So if that becomes an issue more when you have, say, a desk that's facing the room. So not even a desk, like a table. So you always have all these cords hanging out. So you want, if it's a tabletop type of desk, you could drill a hole on one corner, and you know, they have the little covers for them, so all the wiring can go through there. And then you have it's almost like a strip of fabric that adheres to the floor, and you can kind of cover that. So this, I know if you go on Amazon, there's a lot of options for that. Sorry, I'm jumping in here. Does that answer that question?
I think so. At least it gives some insight. I can reach back out with some more details after. We'll email you guys some stuff when we're done.
Yeah.
If you're asking questions and we don't answer it right now, we can send it to you after too.
Exactly. Again, there's so much information. I can only cover so much in this time period, and after a while, you're going to get tired of hearing it all in one shot.
Yeah. Or we can also bring it on our next webinar, right? We can show some of the things that people asked about.
Sure.
So
yeah, exactly. Okay. So the other thing, all the equipment that you need, your laptops, printers, internet access, and just miscellaneous items that you may want to use. In this one, you know, obviously we have the laptop, but monitors, if you're like me and it's harder to see, you want that. Multifunction printers, I think, are really, I'm lost without mine, because as a designer, I'm always printing out things. I am scanning and sending to my vendors. You could even, you know, print your photos off of them. So those are workhorses that you want to invest some money in so that it lasts a while and it can perform so many different functions for you. Internet and access, Wi-Fi or hardwire. I do everything Wi-Fi. I haven't really felt a need for hardwire, but some people they feel safer if they're doing that as a backup. The webcam, if you have an older monitor or a laptop that, you know, doesn't really have a great camera, you can always get a separate webcam to do that, to facilitate your you know, your meetings, your virtual meetings, that you can also find online. Excuse me, hang on. Sorry. Allergies. So that's something, you know, I don't know that it's a necessity, but it is an option for you. And then headsets, headphones, you know, the AirPods that are wireless, those for when you're conducting virtual meetings or like this, a webinar, that's the go-to. I wouldn't do it without that. And the wireless mouse, I'm using one right now. And because I do a lot of drawings it's like a CAD-based program, I use it all the time. It just facilitates the time it takes me to do them versus using my keyboard. And then paper shredder and trash can. I mean, those are kind of no-brainers, but thought I'd mention it. And here's another topic that we could spend days on. So I'm going to briefly cover it. But this is really, I think, one of the most important areas of when you're working from home, especially if you're sitting at the desk all day. I get up every, say, half an hour to an hour and move because I have a bad lower back, and you really need to make sure you're not sitting 24 hours. And you know, obviously you can't do that, but it just, you want to protect your back and your little root tush. So an ergonomic chair, as you can see, this is, it has adjustable arms. You can bring it up, the height up and down. A lot of chairs you can modify or adjust the back settings. So hopefully, if you're going to do anything, invest in a decent chair. They can run anywhere from a couple $100 to, you know, $1,500, $2,000 up, depending on what mechanisms are there. I actually use a seat cushion. This is my lifesaver. I don't know if you can see this. Oops. Comfort Life, got it online. It's been my savior because, again, my back just doesn't handle sitting very long. And what you want to do really is have your monitor, your keyboards at the right height. And in this graphic down here, it's basically giving you that information. So you might, you know, either you can do screen print screen, and or again, this is being we're saving this so you can go back and look at it. But you want to have your arms at 90-degree angles and your legs. This is for optimal use. The monitor adjusts slightly, and you want to be from the screen. The average is about 20 to 40 inches. And from your monitor, you just want kind of arm's length. So this is a good graphic to tell you how to place your chair and your laptop or your monitor. Also, a footrest. Just if your legs are a little shorter and you can't keep your feet flat on the floor, you want to invest in a footrest. Those are really inexpensive, and again, Amazon. And I included a link for Design Within Reach. Is really a kind of a go-to for a lot of designers in terms of home office furniture. They have a section in residential or commercial. So that's a good place to check out if you're interested in a chair. I mean, you can buy them anywhere. Amazon again. I think even Costco has them. So just what I would say is get a good chair. Don't just use a desk or a table chair because it's not providing the support you need. Well, any questions on that?
I put the link in the chat for you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Okay. And then this is the fun part for me. This is the part where you make it reflect you, your personality. So you can include artwork. There's, color sets the mood, plants and flowers, scents, music, inspiration board. And in this picture, I'm obviously showing art, and you can do photos of family or photos of jobs that you've done. So just make it something that makes you happy and that you enjoy being in that space, because especially working from home, you're in there a lot. and you just don't want it to be so, you know, utilitarian that it doesn't inspire you. And the whole point is you want to be inspired so you do your best work. I thought that was fun. This one's kind of cool. I've seen that before on a couple of different projects, but you can go as, you know, whether it's a photo like of plants or flowers, you know, animals. You can go contemporary, you can go traditional. There's so much out there. And what I was going to say is there are some places online you can look. So for example, excuse me, Art Finder, Saatchi, it's Saatchi, I think. And then Minted. And I know there's a ton of other ones out there, but those are just some of the ones I'm thinking off the top of my head. Let's see. So then also color. If you're one of those creative types and you want to pop, this is a great way to make a statement. So you can have it, yeah. This really stands out, doesn't it? I think it's just clever. It's very clean line. You know, you have 3 basic colors, black, white, and green as your accent. So I thought that was a fun picture. I mean, I don't know if I could do it because my colors are a little more toned down, but I just think it's fun. So again, you can pick a color that's bold, or you could pick a pastel. You know, the colors that are in now are the like the blues, and so you could make it whatever tone you want. Just reflect your personality. Uh-oh, sorry, I don't know what happened here. Like I said, I'm not as comfortable doing this. I'm working on it, but here we go.
You're doing great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being patient with me. Answering all my questions between you and my daughter, Lauren. She's ready to kill me. So plants and flowers, candles, incense, if you're into that. Those are all things that really make it personal to you. I love, if I wasn't doing design, I'd be doing landscape design because I love plants and I love flowers. This is one, we're down by the beach and we're by the Fountain Valley Reserve, Talbot, I think is, yeah, Talbot Park. And probably wasn't supposed to do this, but I picked some wildflowers. So I created this just on my table over here on the side, which I love them, but they don't last very long. But I just thought that made me happy. So do something that makes you happy and makes you feel good to work in that area. Again, you can do plants. You can do, like here, they have kind of a Zen feel to the space. So just make it something that really reflects your personality and you'll be happier working in that space. Inspiration boards. I do a lot of these. I do them online. Some people do them on a board and they tack up pictures. This is actually for a client that is looking for some decor for her home office. She's using a guest bedroom. So we put this together just, excuse me, I'm not showing everything because this was just kind of the inspiration, but seating, and again, I love the look of this. I don't know that I would necessarily use it because it's probably not the most comfortable chair, but just to give her a theme of where we want to go with it. So we have we call it the Jetson desk, which I love that show. That was so fun. I don't know if how many of you will remember that, the Jetsons. But it's very mid-century and that's her look. So that's what we were going with. You want, again, your task lighting, and that mirrors the chandelier in the middle of the room, some artwork. We're going to have probably just like a love seat in there, still deciding, or maybe a couple of chairs with a table in between. But you can do, throw in some pillows that just, carry the theme of what you're trying to accomplish in that room, some storage. So there's a lot you can do in that space. If you're lucky enough to have a separate room. So make it all about you. And those are fun. I mean, I've done inspiration boards just for myself with things I want, like traveling, kids, food, clothing, furniture, and decor items. So it to me, it's very inspirational. I don't know if all of you will feel like that, but I think it's a good way to go. So I think that is it.
Monica, what do you think about faux plants versus real plants in a home?
I have both, so I'm not opposed to them. It just depends on the quality. You can, I mean, Home Goods, any of those, you can get faux plants. You just want better quality plants. Some of them, you know, if you look at them, you know what's cheap and what's not. There are some other stores that you can purchase, even online. I remodeled a jewelry store for one of my clients, and in that we added, darn, I didn't think of it. I could have put a picture on there. A couple of areas that were all strictly faux succulents, and I ordered them on Amazon. So you can always do that. It just, you want to make sure you get quality product and not the cheap stuff, because then it does look cheap, it looks fake. I have one here. Hang on a minute, sorry. I have this, you can see, it's faux.
Hold it up higher.
And literally, I had a, oh, sorry, can you see that?
Oh, there you go.
It's pretty, isn't it?
Cute.
Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this is a faux succulent, and honestly, I had a girlfriend that was house sitting when we were gone, and she watered it because she thought it was real. So again,
that's
so
funny.
cute. We say, "You're so pretty" when you do something like that, which I do a lot, so I shouldn't be laughing. I laugh at myself all the time. But anyways, I want to thank everyone for attending. I hope you got some useful information out of this. And again, we recorded this so you have it to fall back on. And as Jeanette said, we're more than happy to address any questions you may have. Even just email me. I actually am changing, this is my new email. It hasn't quite gone through yet. So if you want, go ahead and put down, go ahead and make a note. My email that I do receive, it's my personal email, is designbymo@msn.com. I think what happened was I pulled up one of the old ones and I redid it. And so sorry, some of this wasn't quite what I was expecting. As I said, I'm a newbie.
No problem.
But
so
I hope this gave you good info.
Yes. So thank you, Monica, for your insights and your expertise. And I mean, I think we just barely scratched the surface with what you know and what you taught us today. I just hope people got some insights, and maybe it inspires you to take a step and redecorate, rejuvenate an area in your home, especially as you need to make more workspace. So hopefully it's inspired you a little bit. Some of her slides may have given you some ideas that you can do, some do-it-yourself kind of stuff. Or if you're interested, Monica can reach out to you and talk to you about what your project might be that you may have in mind. So if you're interested in Monica talking with Monica, go ahead and type in the chat room the word design, and we'll have Monica give you a call tomorrow. And as a real estate agent, I wanted to also make sure you know that if you have questions about the market, or you're curious what's going on in our market today, because it is a little bit different than normal, feel free to type in Jeanette in the chat room. And we are selling homes virtually, not the whole way through, but we do start them virtually. We do have a lot of virtual ways of selling homes now, and I'd be happy to share with you how we do that. If you have questions or you're concerned about, you know, what's going on in our market, I'm always happy to give you an update. On my website, I do have like 30-second market updates. I do have a bi-monthly report that I send out, which is basically the economy and what's going on, with a lot of statistics behind it. So if you want more information on that, you just need to get on my email list and you'll get that from me. And Monica, I hope that you've enjoyed today. I'm sure that our guests have enjoyed today, and thank you everybody for attending. I do want to see if there's any other questions. Just hold on a second. Oh yeah, so we have someone that's planning on painting. Thank you for sharing that. And if there's any other topics anybody is interested in, please put them in the chat room. We would like to hear from you on what kind of things around your home that you would love to see redesigned, so that we can add them to our series.
And if you don't mind,
So,
sorry, one sec,
go
Jeanette, I
ahead.
forgot to mention, if you're interested also in more information, you can go to my website. It was there. And I do also have newsletters linked onto that. So if you're interested, that's something you can also look at. I have a couple. I haven't done a ton, but they're on there. Thanks.
Well, great. Great. Yes, I love receiving your newsletters.
Yours
It's
too.
they're sweet. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I don't see any other questions or any other comments, but thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one on Friday, May 8th. May 15th at 11 a.m. Okay.
See
All
you
right.
then.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.